And welcome to Unit 10, Module 57. We're talking about humanistic theories. Here are your learning objectives, and here is your vocab. So, humanistic theory is the perspective of psychology that has a focus on the potential for how each individual can grow. Remember, humanistic is the key word was grow. Let me go back all those modules. So if you think of individuals like an acorn, and they said that each person or each acorn, it needs certain ingredients. It needs soil, it needs water, it needs sunlight in order to grow. And if you just give it those things, it will grow. And that's kind of what they believe for humans. You give them these basic things and they will grow. The two pioneering humanistic psychologists you need to know are Maslow and Rogers. So Maslow is a little bit of review. He had the hierarchy of needs with physical needs first, then safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, and then the ultimate goal was self-actualization. Again, he did add one later on in life called self-transcendence, but at this point it was just self-actualization. And this is the ultimate psychological need that would fulfill one's potential. And it is found through research that self-actualized people are more self-aware, they're more open to different ideas, they're more spontaneous, loving, caring, secure in their self, and when they have an issue, they are problem-focused, not self-focused, meaning they're focused on how they can solve the problem, not on themselves and navigating the problem. They tend to have a few very deep relationships rather than a whole bunch of superficial relationships. Carl Rogers, his humanistic perspective was called the person-centered perspective. It's also known as client-centered or perspective, so you might want to write both of those down. And this is the idea of promoting an environment that required three things. So here are his ingredients: genuineness, acceptance, and empathy. So genuine, dropping the facade and really opening up. And then number two, very important, is a feeling of acceptance that no matter what I say, so if Carl Rogers is your therapist in this moment, right? No matter what you say to him, you tell him your deepest, darkest secret. He believed that if that was met with unconditional positive regard, meaning total acceptance of the person, no matter what they say, the person could actually, that allows change. They don't have to be defensive. They can start to change and grow from feeling accepted and loved and cared for, even someone knowing their most horrible, shameful thing. And then the last one is empathy, sharing, mirroring, and reflecting how other people feel. It's allowing people to feel seen and heard and to not feel alone, right? So these are the three ingredients for Carl Rogers. Self-concept is our thoughts and feelings about who am I. So self-concept is the answer to who am I. Now, they would often use questionnaires to evaluate this, and Carl Rogers even designed one where he had them describe their ideal self and their actual self-image. And he believed that the further apart these were, the lower the self-esteem, and the closer they are to meeting each other, and that's the goal of his therapy, is to get your ideal self and yourself to come together. And that would allow for higher self-esteem. Many people agree today that a positive self-concept is important to a happy, successful life. However, there are several criticisms of the humanistic theories. So the humanists focus on how to grow, right? Not how to treat people. And they're focused on more, so it's kind of like the ground of positive psychology that comes later. The concepts are vague, and they really can't be scientifically defined, and some would say too subjective. And the critics objected to Rogers' view that the only thing that matters is, am I living in a way that is deeply satisfying to me? and which truly expresses me. Because he believed that if we lived in that way that was deeply satisfying to us and which expressed us, that we would be happy. But some people feel this is really emphasizing an individualist culture and that this wouldn't be good therapy for people in collectivist cultures. So takeaways. The humanistic theory is all about the seed getting the right nutrients in order to grow, either Maslow's pyramid or Carl Rogers' genuineness, acceptance, and empathy. Remember the person-centered perspective and the three things like we just said. And then finally, the criticisms of the humanistic perspective are that they're too subjective and vague and cannot be tested. So that wraps up Mod 57, and I will see you in class.